Welcome back to our channel. Today is a beautiful day to dive into the latest, most explosive drama unfolding in Los Angeles. We have massive updates that will shake the Forrester and Spencer legacies to their core. Let's get right into the heat of the action. The silence in the hospital corridor is deafening, broken only by the desperate, echoing footsteps of a woman who has absolutely nothing left to lose. Sheila is cornered, stripped of her marriage, and armed with the most dangerous weapon in her lethal arsenal, a mother's tears. This is the ultimate moment of no return. John Finnegan stands paralyzed in his office, staring into the bloodshot, weeping eyes of the monster who gave him life, feeling an impossible, terrifying wave of empathy wash over him. The fuse is lit, the stakes are life and death, and an explosion that will shatter the Forrester, Finnegan, and Spencer families is imminent. Right now, the hospital is ground zero for a psychological warfare campaign of epic proportions. Sheila Sharp, the architect of so much generational agony, is not wielding a gun today. She is wielding something far more dangerous, far more insidious, and far more effective against a man with a healer's heart: absolute, unadulterated vulnerability. She has officially signed the divorce papers. She has surrendered Deacon Sharp to Taylor Hayes. She has walked away from her marriage, and now, she is standing before her biological son, playing the ultimate card of the desperate martyr. Sheila is not demanding access to the family, she is begging for it. She is weeping, her voice cracking as she pleads with Finn to look at her not as the villain of his past, but as a broken, isolated woman who simply wants a sliver of her son's life. This emotional plea leaves Finn completely and utterly torn. The brilliant doctor is suddenly suffocating under the weight of his own biology. Every logical instinct in his brain is screaming at him to call security, to throw her out, to remember the alleyway where she left him and his wife for dead. But the human heart is a treacherous thing. As Finn watches Sheila break down, a dangerous, undeniable spark of empathy ignites within him. He sees a woman who has just sacrificed her own happiness, her own marriage, all in a twisted bid to prove she is changed. The biological tether that has always haunted Finn is pulling tight, wrapping around his throat and forcing him into an impossible dilemma. He is feeling genuine sorrow for the woman who has terrorized his existence, and that sorrow is the exact key Sheila needs to unlock the gates to his life. But Finn is not a single man making a single choice. He is bound by a sacred vow to a woman who does not negotiate with terrorists. Steffi Forrester Finnegan has drawn a line in the sand with the blood of her own past, and that line is absolute. Steffi is firmly, aggressively, and unapologetically opposed to any form of reconciliation with Sheila. For Steffi, there is no gray area. There is no redemption arc. There is only survival, and survival means keeping Sheila a million miles away from Hayes, Kelly, and Finn. Steffi has made it crystal clear that the mere presence of Sheila is a toxic threat to their family's existence. Now, Finn finds himself under intense, crushing pressure. Sheila is not just asking for forgiveness, she is taking her plea directly to him, begging him to arrange just a 2-minute meeting with Steffi. She wants to look Steffi in the eye and prove that the danger has passed. But Finn knows that even uttering Sheila's name and Steffi's presence is enough to trigger a marital earthquake. He is trapped in a suffocating vice. On one side is his desperate, weeping birth mother, offering a seemingly genuine plea for connection. On the other side is his fierce, protective wife, who will scorch the earth before letting Sheila near their children. Finn must decide right now whether to stand by his unwavering promise to Steffi to put his family first, or risk opening the door to a catastrophic level of conflict by indulging Sheila's tears. If he bends even a fraction of an inch, if he shows Sheila even a microscopic ounce of mercy, he risks detonating his marriage to Steffi permanently. Across town, the psychological shockwaves of Sheila's actions are hitting someone else with terrifying clarity. Dr. Taylor Hayes, a world-renowned psychiatrist, is suddenly feeling the chilling, icy grip of dread wrap around her throat. When Sheila first signed the divorce papers and handed Deacon over without a violent, blood-soaked confrontation, Taylor allowed herself a fleeting moment of dangerous optimism. She actually began to hope that Sheila's transformation was real. She wanted to believe that the murderous psychopath had finally evolved into a woman capable of selfless sacrifice. But that naive optimism is shattering into a million jagged pieces. Taylor is starting to question everything about Sheila's recent behavior. The silence is too loud. The surrender is too easy. Taylor's brilliant psychiatric mind is dissecting the situation, and the diagnosis is pure terror. She begins doubting Sheila's so-called transformation, wondering if signing those divorce papers was truly an act of selflessness, or if it was the opening move in a brilliant, sinister chess match. Does Sheila have an ulterior motive? The answer is flashing in neon lights across Taylor's mind. As her doubts grow exponentially, Taylor fears that Sheila has another, far more dangerous agenda brewing just beneath the surface. Taylor realizes that by giving up Deacon and playing the victim, Sheila is stripping away all distractions. She is positioning herself as a martyr to manipulate Finn's inherent goodness. It is a masterful, terrifying strategy. Sheila knows she cannot fight Steffi with violence anymore. She must fight her with guilt, with pity, and with Finn's own empathy. Taylor is gripped by a sudden, paralyzing fear that Sheila's peaceful exit from her marriage is actually a calculated trap designed to infiltrate the Finnegan home from the inside out. Taylor knows that a cornered Sheila is dangerous, but a patient, calculating, manipulative Sheila playing the long game is an apocalyptic threat to Steffi, Hayes, and Finn. The realization leaves Taylor scrambling, knowing she must warn her daughter before Finn makes a fatal error in judgment. While the psychological warfare threatens to destroy the Finnegan marriage, a literal corporate war is exploding in the executive suites of Los Angeles. The growing rivalry between the Forresters and the Spencers is no longer just a simmering feud, it is boiling over into a spectacular, destructive inferno. The battlefield has shifted to Spencer Publications, and the casual pleasantries have been completely incinerated. Ridge Forrester does not knock. He breaches the sanctum of Dollar Bill Spencer like a conquering warlord out for absolute blood. The dressmaker is furious, combative, and ready to scorch the earth to protect his legacy and his family. Ridge basically declares all-out war on the Spencer family, and his list of grievances is long, volatile, and deeply personal. He storms into Bill's office and unleashes a torrent of rage, accusing Bill, Katie, and the entire Spencer bloodline of launching a coordinated, malicious attack on the Forrester empire. Ridge's fury is fueled by two massive, unforgivable betrayals. First, the physical violence. Ridge weaponizes the recent altercation between Will Spencer and R.J. Forrester. He paints Will as a violent, unhinged menace who brutally assaulted his son, using the bruised ribs of R.J. as the ultimate justification for his wrath. Ridge screams that the Spencers are thugs, incapable of existing in the refined world of the Forresters. But the assault on R.J. is only the match. The theft of Hope Logan is the gasoline. Ridge is livid over the corporate espionage and the blatant poaching of Forrester Creations' top talent. He accuses Bill and Katie of maliciously luring Hope away from her home at Forrester to build the rival house of Logan. To Ridge, this is not just business, this is a direct, unforgivable strike against the heart of his family. He stares Bill down, his voice dripping with venom, and delivers his ultimate ultimatum. He tells Bill that he, his wife Katie, and his son will have started a war they cannot possibly win. Ridge promises to crush the House of Logan before it even gets off the ground, declaring with absolute authority that if the Spencers want a war, they are going to get a massacre. However, Bill Spencer is not a man who cowers. Dollar Bill sits behind his massive desk, a titan of industry reveling in the glorious, chaotic energy of the moment. Bill refuses to be intimidated by Ridge's theatrical threats. In fact, he thrives on them. Bill smirks, welcoming the competition with open arms and a ruthless glint in his eye. He looks at the enraged dressmaker and smugly declares that the balance of power in Los Angeles has officially shifted. Bill gloats about the runaway, undeniable success of Hope's new fashion line, rubbing Ridge's face in the fact that Forrester Creations is bleeding talent. He proudly proclaims that there is new royalty in the fashion world, and its name is Logan. But Bill is a master tactician, and he does not just defend, he attacks. As Ridge stands there preaching about morality and family values, Bill retaliates with lethal, surgical precision. He refuses to let Ridge hold the moral high ground. Bill weaponizes the recent, chaotic behavior of Ridge's own wife, Brooke Logan Forrester. He throws Brooke's violent outbursts directly in Ridge's face, reminding him that it was Brooke who lost her mind, slapped Katie across the face, and physically destroyed Logan property in a fit of unhinged rage. Bill uses Brooke's instability to completely obliterate Ridge's self-righteous anger. How can Ridge condemn Will for a shoving match when his own wife is assaulting the CEO of a rival company and smashing up their showrooms? The tension in the Spencer office is thick enough to cut with a knife. Bill and Ridge are locked in a high-stakes standoff, two alpha males refusing to back down an inch. Ridge remains determined to push back, vowing to unleash the full legal and creative might of Forrester Creations to bury the Spencers. Bill remains immovable, armed with unlimited capital, a booming new fashion house, and the ruthless cunning that built his empire. The stage is perfectly set for an even bigger, more destructive showdown in the days ahead. Every single dynamic in Los Angeles is currently sitting on a powder keg. Finn is standing in his office, staring at the tears of a psychopath, feeling his resolve crumble under the weight of a mother's plea. Steffi is completely unaware that her husband is currently entertaining the very threat she swore to eradicate. Taylor is spiraling into a state of panic, realizing that Sheila's peaceful divorce is the most terrifying move she has ever made. And Ridge and Bill are drawing battle lines that will force everyone, Brooke, Katie, Hope, Liam, Will, and RJ, to choose a side in a war that will take no prisoners. The collateral damage of these impending explosions will be immeasurable. If Finn caves to Sheila's emotional manipulation and asks Steffi for that meeting, it will be viewed as the ultimate betrayal. Steffi will see it not as empathy, but as weakness, a weakness that puts her children directly in the crosshairs of a murderer. The Shin marriage, once thought to be unbreakable, is now teetering on the edge of a catastrophic collapse, all because Sheila knows exactly how to play the victim. Meanwhile, Taylor's realization changes the entire game for Deacon and Sheila. Deacon believes he has finally escaped the madness, completely oblivious to the fact that Sheila's exit was merely a strategic retreat. Taylor knows she has to intervene, but how do you stop a threat that hides behind the mask of a grieving, reformed woman? Sheila is counting on the world believing she is changed, and Taylor is the only one who sees the invisible knife she is holding. And in the corporate world, the Forrester-Spencer war is going to tear the Logan sisters apart permanently. Brooke is already on a rampage, furious at Katie and Hope, and Ridge's declaration of war will only fuel her fire. Katie, backed by the ruthless power of Bill Spencer, is no longer the quiet younger sister, she is a formidable CEO ready to defend her empire at all costs. With Will and RJ's physical altercation acting as a proxy war for their families, the next generation is being dragged into the mud. The stakes have never been higher, the betrayals have never been deeper, and the fallout will be absolutely legendary. Los Angeles is about to burn, and the only question left is who will be standing in the ashes when the smoke finally clears. Will Finn's empathy destroy his marriage, or will Ridge's war destroy Forrester? Drop your wild theories below, hit subscribe, and join the debate.